morning, everybody. My name is Jeremy Marvin with CATI. This is another installment of our Design Innovation Month for our hardware webinars. Today we're going to be covering what's new with Creaform. So a little bit of housekeeping. If you have questions throughout, feel free to use the chat window to me. I'm under the CATI name, so you can just direct those questions to me. Our presenter today is Tim Crennan. He is a senior applications engineer out of our Colorado, Denver office. Is that right, Tim?
That's right.
All right. So take it away, Tim.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for coming. Yeah, we're just going to be talking about what's new with Creaform. So Creaform is our hardware side of the business and deals specifically with 3D optical scanning. It's something that we can use for reverse engineering or full inspection, where we can do GD&T, first article inspection. Previously, until this year, we've had, here's kind of the line of scanners that they have. So they have the Go scans, the HandyScans, and the METROLOGY. And depending on what application you needed, they had these different scanners that could do different things. So the Go scans both of those have been taken off. Now those are basically exclusive version for like healthcare. And we have the new Go Scan Spark to replace both of those. And instead of the HandyScan 300 and 700, we now have the HandyScan Black, which again, both of these scanners are just a more powerful, more versatile version of the old scanners. And then the METROLOGY hasn't really changed that much. But here are the new ones. So the Go Scan Spark and the HandyScan Black. So the HandyScan Black looks at least similar. It's a little bit more aggressive than the old HandyScan. But the Go Scan had a full remodel done on it. So instead of having the two separate scanners, it's now just the one. It's got more capabilities, high resolution, higher accuracy, and more cameras to be able to get better readings off things. And they both changed how these scanners work in a hardware side too. So it's not just a aesthetic improvement on them. They didn't just reorganize things in there. They actually changed the type of hardware it's using, the algorithms it's using to actually collect all this data to make it much more powerful and versatile. So the first one we'll talk about is the Go Scan Spark. And here's a choppy little video kind of explaining what's going on, but I'll narrate what we're seeing. And basically, with the Go Scan Spark, how this one works is that it kicks out 99 white stripe, white light lines onto the surface of the part, and it does it in a big area. So we're scanning like 15 by 15 inch roughly scan zone. And because it's picking up all this data at once, you can scan surfaces that have like unique geometry or textures on it without having to have any tracking targets. So without any prep to this car chassis here, they're able to go through it and scan the whole thing. And it's able to use self-referencing based off the geometries to pick up all that data without having to cover the thing in targets or anything. And even being able to put stuff on turntables, it's tracking itself based on figuring out what the geometries look like. And you also get these better readback and feedback in the software. So you can see the lines that are actually being projected on the part in the software. So the green lines basically means we're in a good depth of field, right? So it's kind of like, if you think of these things like, since they're optical, they work like a camera. So if you can have your focal distance. So if you're too far away, things are blurry. If you're too close, things are blurry. So you got like that sweet spot in the middle. And that's when it shows you that everything's green and you're good to go. If the lines start turning blue, that means you're a little bit too far away. And if they turn red, it means you're a little bit too close. So it gives you really awesome, good feedback. And because of this white light scan, you can see that you can scan direct color texture too. So he's able to scan that map and capture all of the actual graphic data and color textures on there and be able to read it well too. So it's a very powerful, quick machine for getting a lot of scan data in. And the accuracy you can see on these is pretty good. Again, accuracy all depends what you actually need out of it, right? So you take it all with a grain of salt. If we're saying, oh, the Go Scan Spark's great for like reverse engineering and the HandyScan's good for inspection, it all depends what your accuracy requirements are for inspection. We've had people get the Go Scans to do inspection because they're doing large stuff that has a large you know, tolerance in it, so I was able to do what they needed. So again, we have all these different scanners we sell on the Creaform line, so that way we can pick the one that fits your needs best, right? It's not just a one-size-fits-all. So with the high accuracy, the mesh resolution, we can actually get down to 100 microns, so you get those fine details and the high color gambits. With the speed and size of the thing, so that 15 by 15 inch scan area, it's capturing about 1.5 million measurements per second. So that's you know, it's really fast collection, as you saw in the video. That was live speed, right? As he's going through, that wasn't sped up or anything crazy done to it. It's just as you go over, it's just collecting that data and building it up live mesh on the software for you, and using those 99 white light stripes. And because of the white light stripes, they can also pick up that color data. And it's kind of a hybrid scanner too, so you can also use it with some tracking targets too. So if you do get into a situation where you're scanning something that's too big and smooth and doesn't have unique colors or geometry features, and the scanner will get confused and be like, I don't know where I am, you can throw a couple tracking targets on that surface too, and it can use all those at the same time while you're scanning it. But it's a very easy to use scanner. It's very simple. It's got some buttons on the side, the wrist strap. You just plug things in. There's no warm-up times on these. There's no internal fans or anything. You can just plug it in and start scanning your part without having to do any crazy prep work or cover it in dots or, you know, find your 0 points. You just start scanning and off you go. And with the scan quality, it's actually really nice. So we can actually see, we can do over the old Go scans, it's 3 times higher resolution cameras, which yield better accuracy and surface finish and stuff on your scans, but also better color cameras for getting up to, you know, 200 DPI texture maps. So these are some examples of you can scan things and actually get the full color map data out of it, so you actually be able to reference that. And so if you're either, say, drawing on your part or something, making reference points on there, you can actually get that reference data from a marker into your scan data without having to worry about having to physically mark your object. So there's lots of useful things you can do with that. Other things people do with some of these, the Go scan, things like heritage preservation and stuff, where you can actually go in and scan a vase or, you know, artifacts, statues, and you can get not only all the physical geometry data from it, but you can also get all the color data and surfacing and, you know, blemishes out of the scan data too. So it's a very powerful scanner. You know, combined all the benefits on both Go scans, plus, you know, higher resolution cameras and better software for grabbing those scan surfaces all into one machine. So the other scanner that's brand new is the HandyScan Black. This comes in a couple of different flavors, but with the HandyScan Black line, there's HandyScan Black Elite for even higher resolution. But it's a quick video kind of introducing the things we can do with this. This works very differently than the Go Scan Spark. So instead of the white light lines, you can see it's projecting out those blue laser lines onto the surface. So the old HandyScan actually projected out red laser lines. So they have a different laser technology in there, so it's able to be more powerful and pick up the surface better on harder to see surfaces. So shinier a surface is, the harder it is for the scanner to be able to see it and pick up that data. And with the blue ones, they're able to get shinier surfaces without having to worry about coating them to deal with them in any way. And it's still all optical safe. And you can see this is used a lot in inspection processes. So when they go in, you can actually do full GD&T with the scanners. So you can scan it up. You see those dots all over the part. You do have to use tracking targets on here because it's not seeing a solid mesh of data at one point to track geometry or anything. It's just seeing those little lines. So you can go in and scan your entire surface once you put some targets on it to an extremely high accuracy. It's light, portable, easy to use. Again, it has more feedback things built into the scanner, so you can see how far away from the part you are. Can you get closer? Capturing over 1 million points of data per second. And with that, I mean, with the new laser technology, they're scanning that shiny chrome wheel without having to pre-coat it, do anything to knock down the shine on it, and still get these amazing results out of it from the mesh. All right, so this is when they start calling things portable metrology grade 3D scanners. And with that, so with the metrology grade, I mean, you see the accuracy. I mean, we're up to 25 micron accuracy on this, so it's less than 1/1000 accuracy, and that's point to nominal. And then you have the volumetric accuracy is also extremely high, and that does have a bit of a stack up with it. So the bigger part you scan, the more your tolerance stack up kind of goes with it, but it does not grow very quickly with these scanners. And there's also, if you have really large parts you're trying to scan, there's other things that Creaform provides you can implement in with the HandyScan to really bring your volumetric resolution accuracy really tight. So you can do 6, 10, 30-foot parts with a HandyScan Black if you needed to. But the typical size range they have on these, say, anywhere from a couple inches up to 13-foot size part. So with this one, with the blue laser lines it's putting out instead of the red ones now, so it's 11 sets of blue laser crosses. So it's basically 11 laser lines going one way, 11 laser lines going the other way. So it's a total of 22 lines that make 11 crosses. It's got a large scan area. It's about the same size as the GoScan Spark, and the speed at capturing 1.3 million measurements per second. It picks up the surfaces just amazingly fast and quick and efficiently. Because it's with the technology of the laser lines and not doing the big white light pattern like the GoScan Spark, it can actually do a larger range of harder to see colors on the HandyScan Black. So where the GoScan might struggle on really shiny objects trying to put those white light onto it, with these blue laser lines, it can actually do those shinier, harder to see parts without having to treat the surface of it at all. So even straight off machined metal parts and all that, you can just scan it right in and get your results and do your in-process inspections or first article inspections and things like that. Speaking of those inspections, it's R certified, so we have different accreditations and standards you can get on the machines. You can get traceable information on all this. So you can have it recertified yearly to make sure you have your whole pipeline to keep everything up to date. And it's a very versatile machine. So it has another option is that instead of doing the bunch of laser lines to scan the large surface, you can swap over to a single laser mode and actually be able to scan. It's better for like point scanning areas. If you're trying to get down into a hall, steep sides of something, you go to the single laser line and just kind of look at that area and paint it in. So as you're scanning all these parts, it shows the mesh of what you're scanning on the screen. So you can see live where you're going, what you're getting. It also gives you that feedback in the software of if you're in the sweet spot for the scan zone or if you're too far away or too close, and it gives you that feedback on the back of the scanner too for too far, too close, if it knows what it's looking at. So that way you don't have to be constantly looking over your shoulder at the screen of what you're scanning. You can just start scanning your part and just keep an eye on the thing you're holding. So you know exactly what's going on with it. So the new line of the Creaform portfolio is basically we have the new GoScan Spark replaces all the old GoScans. We have the HandyScan line now, which is the Black and the Elite, and they even have a 307, which is kind of still a little bit of the old HandyScan, so it's cheaper, but it's not as doesn't have the higher accuracy, higher collection speed, higher versatility with the new blue laser lines compared to the red. And then with some of the other machines they have on here, so with the METROScan is still the same as the previous one, but this is an extremely capable machine where it can also scan chrome wheels and stuff without having to worry about coating them. But the METROScan is specifically designed for really large parts. So if you wanted to scan half of a car in one go without having to move anything around, the HandyScan is the way to go, where you get extremely high accuracy parts, so you can do metrology grade stuff on large scale things. Lots of aerospace companies use the HandyScans for scanning wing profiles or whatever. But yeah, you can use really large parts without having to worry about covering your entire area with dots. And some of the other ones they have at the bottom, these are the more kind of one-off ones. They're not as capable as the top line of scanners. They work in a little bit different way. or a more unique fringe kind of way. So the max shot is a metrology, a photogrammetry solution. So you can actually, and that's specifically for really large parts, for doing inspection or increasing the accuracy overall of either the METROScan or HandyScan. And that's designed for parts a minimum of like 6 feet and up. So that's specifically, you have a high accuracy and you want to scan your 30-foot long airplane wing. The max shot combined with the Metro or HandyScan, it gives you that high accuracy. The QBR is just kind of an automated solution. So where you can have a whole kind of scanning cell that's large scale. It works by using the METROScan technology. So you can actually put something like an entire car door off the production line into the QBR and hit go, and it'll run its own scan routine, scan the door for you, and kick out an inspection report. And then you just put in another door and take the old one out, and it'll just run those automated scan processes for you in a production kind of setting. And then we have the HandyPro, and that works really well with the METROScan, and basically that is just a portable CMM solution without an armature or anything attached to it. So you can do, small normal size stuff, but you can also do really large parts where you don't need to worry about having it bolted down or if your armature is long enough to reach to the other side. So think of it as just a wireless, armless CMM probe. So other things that Creaform has come out with recently is they kind of did a new revamp of their software. So we have our new VX Element 7, and this is the software that works specifically with all of the scanners and can also take in other STL files and stuff and mess with them if you need it. But it's kind of like SolidWorks, where they have a couple different packages all within the VX Elements overall software. So within VX Elements, we have the scanning software for collecting the data with the scanner. We have our inspection software for doing full inspections of your parts in GD&T. And we also have a reverse engineering software within there for actually being able to extract entities from your scan data to be able to send directly to SolidWorks and do full reverse engineering with it. Some of the improvements that they've been coming out with, they revamped kind of the overall look of the software, redid a bunch of the icons, for cleaner, better looking icons, more modern, up to date, works better with the high resolution monitors and stuff. But they've rearranged some of the other windows around to make the workflow a little bit more common sense. So the scanner parameters have its own separate window now. They've added new clipping tools. So we have better and some more changes to the clipping reference planes, where you can say don't collect any scan data under here. But some other really cool features like reference CAD. So you can actually, if you're doing an inspection or something and you have the CAD data, you can actually bring in the CAD data, have that lined up to what you're going to be scanning, and use that as your clipping plane. So the entire CAD object. So as I'm scanning around, if I have clamps also on the CAD on the thing I'm scanning or in the floor, it'll automatically not scan any of that data in for us. So that makes just some cool, useful tools for clipping out the data we don't need. They've implemented guided workflows where it actually steps you through what's going on. Say, scan this, calibrate that, do this thing, flip the part over, scan the other side, and it walks you through the whole process. They have scanner templates now. It's easier to set up. So if you're doing the same types of scans over and over, you can set up all your settings and bring in reference locations or fixture data into the same templates. And they've improved a bunch of performance things on there, like making the saves go faster so you don't have to wait so long for it to compile everything to save. It just cranks through those much quicker now. We also have some improvements to VX Inspect, where they've added an outlier filter, which is really nice for being able to thin down your selection set. So if I select a plane that I want to make my datum A, you can throw a little outlier filter on there. So if your scan data picked up any little spikes or something, you can throw those out and it won't throw off your measurements. Makes it more true to life. They even added caliper tools, so you can kind of measure things in there as if you had like physical calipers on a part. So from points to points, instead of having to go to like reference planes and stuff, you can just act like you have digital calipers on it. And other things like, partial surface best fit can now work better instead of having to do the entire part best fit. And improvements to the VX model software too, with they've dramatically improved the NURB surfacing, broken that up to multiple tasks so you can get more specific of what kind of control you want with it. Improvements to the hole filling wizard that walks you through how to fill holes and how well it does it, how it interprets it, more controls over how you want it to fill it in. It's just a lot of improvements, graphical overhaul, and there's a lot more obviously in the background that they've done and other tools that they've improved, but this is just kind of a quick overview of some of the improvements that they've done. So with that, that's kind of a quick intro to the what's new with Creaform, with the new, better technology, higher accuracy, higher resolution scanners, and the more powerful software to control everything with it too.